terms of his balance. It just needs a shot more power when we get right behind him. The sheep in third's got that extra power. Unfortunately, he's just a little softer to the touch and just needs a little more compositional correctness. He's a sheep that's just a little past where he needs to be from a finish standpoint, but he's productive, big-bodied, heavy-muscled. We like all those things about him. Just a nickel plain. Trio of sheep that I've talked to the young people about. Pair of sheep that are in fourth and sixth that just need a shot more dimension and muscle. They're both very lean. Young lady sheep in fifth, really thick. Unfortunately, he's just a little too chubby today here at the fair. Give these kids a nice hand for an excellent job.
Your Grand Southdown went to Clansley Conklin, Artesia FFA. Your Reserve went to Kaylee Shockey, Artesia FFA. Third went to Peyton Putman, Loving FFA. Fourth went to Rhett Frost, Brush Poppers 4-H. Fifth went to Tegan Frost, Brush Poppers 4-H. And sixth went to Annabelle Wells, Blue Jeans and Boots. Class 1, black faces to the holding pen. Class 1, black faces to the holding pen.
a really nice speckled sheep to lead this class. The young lady's got here, and ultra good in terms of his balance and his profile. Really a good looking sheep that the pieces fit together like they're supposed to. Really good in his balance, skeletal correctness. He's really fresh, got plenty of muscle in him. He's not the most overwhelming one we've had today, just in terms of sheer power. But man, you talk about one that's good looking. He's fresh, he handles right, just a really nice sheep. Young man's got a nice sheep in second as well. This lamb just needs a little more time. Unfortunately, he's a little bit green, just doesn't have the handling quality of the young lady's sheep that beats him. I think in another month, a lamb we're really going to like because he's got the right pieces. We'd like to level him up in his hip a little bit, like to tuck him in his chest floor ever so slightly, but I think his balance is quite a bit better. Young lady's lamb that we got in third. Young lady's lamb in third's really muscular. That lamb's got tremendous carcass merit. He's really shapely. He's really expressive when you put your hands on him. He's just a little piece together, and his pieces don't fit together quite as nicely as they should, but again, one that handles good. Young man in fourth, a good productive lamb that's just a little flatter than he needs to be through his hind saddle, but a good well-fed lamb that's good in terms of market weight, and again, a sheep that's pretty lean and muscular up high. Good trio of sheep as we move on down. Young lady's white sheep that's just a little soft, pair of sheep on this end that are a little lightweight, just need a little more time. Congratulations to all of them. Job well done at the fair this evening.
Your champion spec went to Jaylee Joy, Cottonwood 4-H. Your reserve went to Cage Sandman, Cottonwood 4-H. Third went to Macy Ryan, Loving FFA. Fourth went to Colton Sandman, Cottonwood 4-H. Fifth went to Peyton Kennedy, Cottonwood 4-H. Sixth went to Bristol Sandman, Cottonwood 4-H. Seventh went to Jonathan Lopez, Zia Sharpshooters. Class 2, black faces to the holding pen. Class 2, black faces to the holding pen.
getting started, I'd like to show the sheep that we have. Probably the whole class just needs a little more time, just a little more maturity and some weight. Some sheep I think on down the line we're going to like a little better. With that said, I think the sheep that's closest to their endpoints, the sheep we start with, you couple that with that sheep's got the most bloom, and it's also the sheep that's got the most quality in terms of body shape, in terms of dimension, in terms of rib, and in terms of the way it's presented and balanced. Just an awfully nice sheep. Congratulations. I thought there was give and take 2, 3, and 4. I think our sheep in second, to me, is just a little more practical today in terms of its rib shape, in terms of where it's at from a finish standpoint, in terms of its market readiness. Not quite as extreme as the 2 blue sheep that come in third and fourth. Pair of really attractive, good balanced sheep. I told those young ladies those sheep just need a lot more time. I like the build of the sheep in third better than the sheep in fourth. The sheep in fourth is really extreme in terms of muscle shape and extension. Just needs a lot more time in terms of market readiness. Trio of sheep on this end that are just a little too out late and just don't have quite enough performance to move up the line. Congratulations to all of them as we start the black faces. Give these kids a nice hand, please.
Thank you.
First place went to Aiden Cox, Brush Poppers 4-H. Second place went to Lindsay Coggin, Carlsbad FFA. Third went to Taylor Kennedy, Artesia FFA. Fourth went to Taylor Kennedy, Artesia FFA, tag 94648. Fifth went to Taylor Salter, Artesia FFA. Sixth went to Tegan Frost, Brush Poppers 4-H. Seventh went to Jonathan Lopez, Zia Sharpshooters. Class 3 black faces to the holding pin. Class 3 black faces to the holding pin.
Class 2 here is pretty challenging. I will admit that to you. I think there's a number of things you could do in this class, depending on where you put your emphasis. Young man sheep we're going to start with is maybe not the one that, when they first walk in the ring, is the one that you necessarily gravitate to. But I think we begin to pick them apart. You study the fundamentals in terms of muscle, in terms of product, and a sheep that have some shape, sheep that have some balance and some presence. When we put them on the side view, I think that sheep needs to win. I think he overwhelms the ewe lamb in second in terms of rib shape, openness of pin set, bigness of top. There's just more power in that sheep compared to the ewe lamb. He's got a little more productive look for me. The ewe lamb probably fits together as nicely as any sheep in the class in terms of her pieces, her uniformity of underline. She's just a little hard-bodied for me. She's just a little tighter than I'd like to see her. But I think she's quite a bit more muscular than the sheep that comes in third. A nice weather that's pretty attractive in his balance. Young lady's done a pretty nice job presenting him. He wants to get out in his hock a little bit. He wants to get a little sharp behind his shoulder. Just needs a notch more muscle shape as you study him out high. Pair of sheep that come next, fourth and fifth, probably heavier muscle than any of the sheep that we've talked about. Unfortunately, those two sheep are just a little jammed up. Both of them need some help in terms of the way they're constructed structurally. The young lady's sheep here coming next, just really massive, just too straight behind. The sheep that comes right behind him, not quite as muscular and maybe not quite as good in terms of his overall balance. Pair of sheep on that end. Young people have worked really hard, just need a little more to them. Give these kids a nice hand. Very challenging class.
First place went to Jack Jerva, Loving FFA. Second place went to Jesslyn Joy, Cottonwood 4-H. Third went to Riley England, Cottonwood 4-H. Fourth went to Kesslin Hetty, Artesia 4-H. Fifth went to Peyton Putman, Loving FFA. Sixth went to Trayton Wells, Blue Jeans and Boots. Seventh went to Maylee Phillips, Country Clovers 4-H. And eighth went to Cage Sandman, Cottonwood 4-H. We need your first and second place black faces from Class 1 and Class 2. Your first and second place black faces from Class 1 and Class 2.
Well, a nice trio of sheep here that the young people have, and I think all three of those sheep have quality. They're not exactly the same in terms of type and kind, but I think they're good sheep nonetheless. Young man's ewe lamb that we start with, I think just puts all those pieces together. Of the top end, she's probably handles with as much product, as much dimension, as much freshness, and as much trueness in terms of her composition as any of those three sheep. She's also the longest in her hind saddle, probably the biggest at the ground, and we like those things about her. Now, to me, we change her a little bit through her front end. She gets just a nickel deep right there in her chest floor. She maybe isn't quite as nice in terms of the way the pieces fit as the wether that comes in second. That young lady does a really nice job getting that sheep presented. I like his balance. I like his attractiveness. He's ultra fresh. At the end of the day, he's just a little sharper behind his shoulder. He's a little plainer and nondescript from a muscle shape standpoint. We give him the muscle content of the sheep in first. I think that's a tremendous sheep. She does a great job. That's a really nice sheep that's very, very complete. I think he's nicer balanced. I think he's better in his shoulder and neck design. I think he's more correct on his feet and legs than the blue sheep that comes in third. A really fresh, nice balance, just a really solid sheep that comes in third. Not quite enough bells and whistles compared to those first two in terms of balance of the sheep in second, in terms of masculinity, in terms of substance, in terms of muscle shape compared to the sheep in first, but just a nice sheep. Young lady sheep in fourth, she's also done a nice job. That sheep's just a little disappointing in its hind saddle, needs more muscle as you study it from its last rib back. The young lady sheep that comes out next, just a little flat through its stifle and twist, a little off in terms of its hind leg. Trio of sheep on that end just need a little more time on feed. Give these kids a nice hand here in your first division as we conclude that.
First place went to Colton Nikes, Cottonwood 4-H. Second went to Clancy Fulmar, Cottonwood 4-H, tag 21093. Third place went to Clancy Fulmar, Cottonwood 4-H. Fourth went to Taylor Kennedy, Artesia FFA. Fifth went to Aslan Abercrombie, Brush Boppers 4-H. Sixth went to Jocelyn Frintz, Country Clovers 4-H, tag 94681. Seventh went to Taylor Salter, Artesia FFA. And eighth went to Jocelyn Frintz, Country Clovers 4-H. Class 4, black faces to the holding pin. Class 4, black faces to the holding pin.
competitive lightweight division here as we get your blackface show started. Talked about all these sheep in class, and I think they fit together nicely and represent what we're trying to do. Sheep that have muscle, sheep that have product, sheep that handle good, are fresh and have a good tone and touch, yet they're sheep that are balanced and correct, have some future as a lightweight. I think there's one that kind of separates itself, be your division champion, and kind of one that logically follows as reserve. I think in general, all these sheep just need a little more time, but I think with more time, they've certainly got the quality. Put your hands together, please, for these exhibitors. We'll congratulate your two lightweight champions.
Your Division 1 champion went to Aiden Cox, and your reserve Division 1 champion went to Colton Kneecase. Class 5 black faces to the holding pen. Class 5 black faces to the holding pen.
Well, a good class to get our middleweight started, and I think some give and take up here at the top end for sure. Some good quality sheep that got a lot of differences in them. I guess what's not debatable for me is the young lady's sheep that wins the class. I think this lamb does that pretty handily. He's one that's really burly in terms of his construction. He's stout from the ground up. He's good-bodied. He's really shapely and expressive up high. He's square-built. And I think of the top sheep that we've got out here, when we put him in motion, I think that sheep maintains as much balance, as much symmetry, and as much quality as any of them. The sheep that comes in second, I think of the next trio, I think is most similar to our class winner. And when I say that, what I mean is I think that sheep is better up high. I think he's better at the top of his hip. I think he's wider pinned. I think he's got more natural substance and muscular shape and natural body with a skeleton than the sheep that comes in third. We put him in motion, he's a little ewe-necked. That's a sheep that doesn't travel good enough, doesn't have quite enough symmetry when we put him in motion. The ewe lamb is beautiful on the move. She's really good balanced. She's good fronted. She's good shouldered. She's really attractive. Unfortunately, she just doesn't have quite enough muscle compared to the three wethers that stand around her. She gets a little narrower as you get behind her. I like to stouten her up, put that on that framework, that extra balance and symmetry. I really like that. She just needs more product. The blue sheep is really stout. Unfortunately, he's a little round off both ends. He wants to be a little steeper in his hip, a little more open at the point of his shoulder. He's a little off in his neck set. Just need to give that sheep more squareness, more balance, more attractiveness to go with that extra rib shape and go with that extra muscularity. Pair of sheep that come in there next. Young lady's sheep that's about fifth. That sheep's really good through his hip and back through his leg. Just a little plainer. Young man's ewe lamb that's in sixth. Need to drop her in her flank. Need to give her the substance through her hind saddle that the other sheep have got. Trio of sheep on this end. We've talked to those young people. In general, just need a little more balance, a little more symmetry. Congratulations to them. Give these kids a nice hand, please.
First place went to Chloe Platt, Artesia 4-H. Second went to Jaylee England, Artesia FFA. Third went to Bailey Trujillo, Artesia FFA. Fourth went to Jay Lopez, Brush Poppers 4-H. Fifth went to Cabri Eddy, Artesia FFA. Sixth went to Colton Platt, Artesia 4-H. Seventh went to Aislinn Abercrombie, Brush Poppers 4-H. Eighth went to Peyton Kennedy, Cottonwood 4-H. And ninth went to Taylor Saltner, Artesia FFA. Class 6, black faces to the holding pen. Class 6, black faces to the holding pen.
really nice class here, and we've got 8 really nice sheep. The young people on that side that we've talked to, those are really nice, practical kind of sheep that have a lot of good to them, that run into some really stiff competition here at your Eddy County Fair. And I think there's a really nice top end of this class. And with that said, the sheep that wins has got a lot of cool things. This rascal handles extremely well. Tremendous balance again, tremendous freshness as you get this sheep on the side. Put your hands on him. He is explosive up high, super good through his hind saddle in terms of the way he touches and handles. I love those things about him. We put that sheep in motion. He's still correct enough in terms of his skeleton and his balance. I'd extend him just a little bit. The sheep in second's probably a little taller fronted. The sheep in second's probably just a little better right at his chest, and probably just a nickel leaner right over his forerib, and I appreciate those things. But in terms of squareness, build, quality, the way this sheep touches, just an awfully nice sheep to lead with. I like this sheep in second a lot too. Just a very, very complete one. He's not as extreme in those things we talked about. He needs a shot more power to complete with the lamb that we got in first. He's probably not even as extreme in terms of handle as the sheep we got in third, excuse me. But his pieces fit together so much nicer. He's got more natural rib shape. He's longer and leveler in his hip. He's better in his hind leg posture than the sheep that comes in third. Sheep in third's really lean, hard handling, very carcass oriented, just a little too piecey. He's a little round out his hip. He's a sheep that isn't quite right out of his hind leg. He's too hard bodied for me. Just need to soften him up, give him just a notch more flexibility. The sheep that comes in fourth, very similar, maybe a little more expressive in terms of his leg shape, but again, a sheep that gets a little off balance. His front end wants to drop out of him. He's a little more mature in his head and neck. A sheep that we like to level up in terms of his hip, but again, really stout, really muscular. I like the sheep in fifth a lot in terms of his squareness of build, bigness of top shape, overall power and muscle. A sheep that's really nice in that regard, just a little too straight in terms of his hock. A nice trio of sheep that we got on that end. We've talked to those young people. Carcass-wise, really nice sheep, just not quite balanced enough to go with that extra carcass merit. Give these kids a hand. They've done a great job.
First place went to Jaylee Joy, Cottonwood 4-H. Second place went to Kaylee Shockey, Artesia FFA. Third went to Bailey Trujillo, Artesia FFA. Fourth went to Kaylee Shockey, Artesia FFA, tag 94615. Fifth went to Jack Jerva, Loving FFA. Sixth went to Jay Lopez, Brush Poppers 4-H. Seventh went to Lindsay Coggin, Carlsbad FFA, and eighth went to Tegan Frost, Brush Poppers 4-H. We need your first and second place sheep from class 4 and 5. First and second place sheep from class 4 and 5 back to the holding pen.
folks, really a fun class, and really good sheep all the way through, and I think four particularly good ones. They got an awful lot of into them, and a lot of quality. People have worked hard. They're tremendously well shown. They're sheep that are fitted right. They're sheep that got a tremendous amount of quality. And I think for me, it's a top pair. And that doesn't mean they're the two sheep that are the most similar of the four, because I'm not sure that's accurate. But I think they are the two best ones in terms of putting the right kind of pieces together, at least for the judge that's standing in front of you tonight. Young lady sheep that we start with, man, that dude is really cool when you get him on the profile. Tremendously good in his lines, really good in his underline, ultra fresh in terms of his touch, firm, wedges the right direction, got plenty of muscle. I think where he's a little better than the sheep in second, he's just a little fancier in terms of his underline. He's a little neater right there at his chest floor. He's a little neater right there in his neck. A notch more extension to him as you study him from fore to rear. I like those things about him. We give up just a little bit in terms of sheer mass. The sheep in second, man, this dude's bulky. He is massive over his loin edge. He is massive in his center body. He's got tremendous power, tremendous squareness. He's good at the ground. That's a really good sheep. He's maybe just a nickel planer as you study him right through his front third. He isn't quite as attractive when you get him on the profile, but awfully complete. The sheep that comes in third, you might argue, from a balance standpoint, from the way he's constructed, actually sheep in third and fourth are maybe more similar to our class winner. There's some truth in that. The sheep that comes in third, unfortunately, to me is just a little piecey. He's a little U-necked. He's a little open at the point of his shoulder. He's not as good right down his top line and over his loin edge as the two sheep we've talked about, nor is he as correct from the hock down in terms of his angulation of joints and in terms of his skeleton. That dude's awfully fresh. He's got a big shapely rack about him. He's a sheep that certainly has some future. If you just stand on this view, hard not to like our sheep in fourth. He is up-fronted. He's really tall-shouldered. He's extremely long-bodied. He's really fresh. He's good-looking. He's good in terms of his structure. Unfortunately, that sheep is a distant fourth in terms of the amount of muscle and mass that he has. He's just not as opened up, not as shapely, and not as stout as that top trio, but that's a really good sheep that young lady's got. I told the young lady in fifth with the blue sheep, he just gets outmassed in here. There's just not enough of him. That's a good enough sheep. In another class, I think he could have competed as a class winner. Unfortunately, not quite enough of him. Trio of sheep on that end that compositionally are awfully good, just don't come to us with quite enough balance, quite enough attractiveness. Congratulations to these young people. Really competitive class.
First place went to Bailey Trujillo, Artesia FFA. Second place went to Jaylee Joy, Cottonwood 4-H. Third went to Swayze Fulmar, Artesia FFA. Fourth went to Bailey Dennison, Artesia FFA. Fifth went to Annabelle Wells.
Now's the time to get a great deal on the #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. Professional grade mowers, durable sidekick utility vehicles, and versatile compact tractors. It's the equipment you need to take care of your land. Right now, get select L2502 series for as low as $21,999 or $325 per month.
Visit your local Kubota dealer, Amigo Machinery at 2801 Southeast Main Street in Roswell.
Class 7 black faces to the holding pen. Class 7 black faces to the holding pen.
Well, we certainly turned up the heat when we got to our middleweights and three very, very competitive classes, and I think 4 or 5 sheep in this division, which were extremely good, and brought a lot of quality, and hopefully describe those. I think our front row and our second place heavyweight, those 4 sheep are tremendously good. All those sheep, I got a lot of quality. We've kind of picked them apart and described them. I think your champion's going to have just a little more elevation, just a notch more extension, and look, our reserves are going to be awfully, awfully stout and powerful, and again, awfully good sheep that are all good on their feet and legs, all fresh, all got lots and lots of good. Put your hands together for the middleweights, if you would please, and we'll congratulate the winners.
Your Division II champion blackface went to Bailey Trujillo, and your Division II reserve blackface went to Jaylee Joy. Class 8 black faces to the holding pen. Class 8 black faces to the holding pen.
good class to get our heavyweight started, and I think a close top pair here between these two young lady sheep. The lamb we start with, I think you get on top of that lamb, you like him pretty well because he's really expansive in terms of his upper rib shape. He's a sheep that's big over his loin edge, big back through his upper hip. He's the best sheep when you get behind him in terms of squareness of pin set, in terms of width from stifle to stifle, bigness of rib cage, the amount of mass and muscle he's got from shoulder to twist. He wants to roach up in his top. He wants to be a little bit tight in his spine. We just like the pieces to fit together a little bit nicer, and maybe give him just a little tighter hide. I don't know that sheep is any fatter than the sheep that we've got in second, but the sheep in second's got a little less middle, a sheep that's maybe a little more tucked up right in his chest, so he appears a little leaner and trimmer. I don't know that they handle any different. I think he's a little better hided, and I think he's a little trimmer middle, but I don't think he's any leaner from a carcass standpoint. He certainly doesn't have quite as much mass. The sheep in second's nice too. Get him on the standstill. Young lady does a nice job because he's tall fronted, he's long bodied. That's a sheep that I think has got quite a bit more dimension to him than the sheep in third. Sheep in third, again, from a leanness standpoint, from a freshness standpoint, he's very, very good. Unfortunately, he wants to be a little off in his hip-loin junction. He's a sheep that's a little tight in terms of his rear leg and front end, but a sheep, again, that's got a lot of carcass merit, a lot of terminal value, just not quite as much balance as the sheep that we previously talked about. Nice sheep that comes in there fourth. I told the young lady from the hip forward, that sheep's probably as good as any sheep out here. Unfortunately, he's a little straight in his hock, a little flat behind. We need to change that about him. Again, we've talked to these young people as we have all day. They've worked really hard and done a nice job. It's been a pleasure to work with them. Give them a nice hand of congratulations.
First place went to Kaylee Shockey, Artesia FFA. Second went to Bailey Dennison, Artesia FFA. Third went to Colton Platt, Artesia 4-H. Fourth went to Maylee Phillips, Country Clovers 4-H. Fifth went to Riley England, Cottonwood 4-H. Sixth went to William Johnson, Cottonwood 4-H. Seventh went to Colton Sandman, Cottonwood 4-H. Eighth went to Rhett Frost, Brush Poppers 4-H. Class 9, black faces to the holding pen. Class 9, black faces to the holding pen.
this sheep get heavier. I think they're going to more challenging class. So I think you put deeper respects. Young lady sheep is awfully powerful that we use to win this class. There's no question about that. The sheep's got a lot of muscle, it's got a lot of product. The sheep's white-faced and big in terms of his skeleton. He's a little past where he needs to be in terms of the amount of finish and capabilities out. I think he handles it reasonably well. I think he's fresh enough. He's just got a little too much. And I told you maybe that. And I think after you say that, in terms of his build, in terms of his muscularity, in terms of his freshness, in terms of his shape, and just putting all the other things together, I still think he's the logical place to fit. Because I think he's quite a bit less mature in terms of his front end. I think he's better over his top line and back through his hip than the sheep in second. I think he's more muscular. I think he's got more substance. I think his top line is better. His low and hip hookup's better. His rear legs posture is better than the sheep that comes in third. So I think he's the logical place to hook. Young man's Lamets in second probably follows him a little better than the sheep in third does. He too has got a little bit the same syndrome in that he's a little bit soft. Unfortunately, this sheep's balance isn't as good. He's a little uneven in his top line. He's a little heavier through his front third than ideal. Big standing sheep in third. He's long-bodied. He's lean. He's high cut ability for a heavyweight. I like those things about him. Unfortunately, he's a little frail and small-footed. He's a sheep that's broken in his top. He doesn't have quite enough loin edge for me. I don't like his top line. We fix those things and just make him a notch burlier in terms of his kind, but a sheep that's got a lot of compositional correctness, and I like that. The blue sheep's fundamentally just a good kind of market lamb. Just like to see a little more of him. So what I told the young lady, fundamentally he's sound, fundamentally he's got some muscle shape, just not as extreme in his pieces as the sheep we talked about. Good set all the way through. Give those kids a nice hand of our hard work here this evening.
First place went to Jaylee Joy, Cottonwood 4-H. Second place went to Gus Conklin, Cottonwood 4-H. Third went to Clansley Conklin, Artesia FFA. Fourth went to Jenna Marbach, Artesia FFA. Fifth went to Rat Frost, Brush Poppers 4-H. Sixth went to Tegan Frost, Brush Poppers 4-H. And seventh went to Cage Sandman, Cottonwood 4-H. We need your first and seconds out of class 7 and 8. Your first and seconds out of class 7 and 8 to the holding pen.
Good set of heavyweight sheep to wind up the class, and I think a trio of sheep that we lead with that are just a little more compositionally right than the sheep that comes in fourth. Between that pair of sheep that I think have that extra compositional leanness and cutability at this stage of the game, and are built just a little better in terms of their hind leg posture and the way they get out and travel out of their hip and hind leg compared to the blue sheep in third. Between those two, I think the sheep that's a little more opened up through his upper hip, I think a sheep that's got a little more stifle, a little more expression, a little more three-dimension as you get him on the three-quarter view is the young man sheep that we lead the class with. I think he's just a nickel stouter than the sheep that comes in second. True, he's not as elevated, he's not as tall-fronted, he's not as long-bodied as that sheep in second, but I think he's a little more opened up as you study him all the way through. Sheep in second's got a nice a balance about him. Again, he's fresh, he's lean, he's compositionally right for a heavyweight. Just like to blow him apart a little bit, give him more natural substance and base width as you study his skeleton. I think he moves a little better though. He's a little more flexible out of his hip and hind leg than the blue sheep. The blue sheep, I think, contends for the class. I think he's a little stouter as you study him in terms of muscle shape compared to the two we've talked about. I wish he was just a little more athletic when you put him in motion. The sheep that's the stoutest of the top four easily is the sheep that comes in fourth. He's big-topped, he's expressive, he's really bold-ribbed, he's extremely heavy-muscled. Unfortunately, he's just a little pieced together. He's a little more mature through his front end, carries a little more condition than ideal, and he gets just a little bit piecey in terms of the way his pieces fit. Good trio of sheep on that end. Young people have done an excellent job. We visited with them. Congratulate them, if you would, please, for a job well done.
First place went to Madison Mancha, Artesia FFA, tag 94676. Second place went to Madison Mancha, Artesia FFA. Third went to Clansley Conklin, Artesia FFA. Fourth went to Clansley Conklin, Artesia FFA, tag 94630. Fifth went to Bailey Dennison, Artesia FFA. Sixth went to Bailey Dennison, Artesia FFA, tag 94654. Seventh went to Cameron Conklin, Cottonwood 4-H. We need all of your grand breed and reserve breed champions back to the holding pen. All your breed and reserve breed champions back to the holding pen. And our Blackface Division 1 and 2 Grand and Reserves. Our Division Blackfaces 1 and 2 Grand and Reserves back to the holding pen.
really good heavyweight division. I think 3 solid classes, and again, maybe a division that doesn't fit together quite as well in terms of just how the sheep presented. I think it's between the sheep that won Class 2 and then the 2 heavyweights. That doesn't mean they're very similar. The sheep that wins Class 2 is easily the muscle sheep out here. He's easily the burliest, biggest rib, stoutest, best handling sheep just in terms of muscle mass and substance. Still handles it well, as we talked about him structurally. Unfortunately, he's just a little chubbier than he needs to be. I give him just a notch more leanness and trimness. That's where I think the heavyweight excels for being a heavyweight sheep. He's still very lean, still very high cut ability, still got some youthfulness about him. I think a sheep that still has an ample amount of muscle. He doesn't hold a candle to the sheep that's out of Class 2 just in terms of burliness, in terms of rib shape, in terms of the way he touches and handles. But there's a sheep that's fresh, that's lean, that's good on his feet and legs, that has enough muscle. And I thought there was quite a bit of difference in stoutness between first and second out of that heavyweight class. So I think there's a classic trade-off. You got sheep with more muscle, got a sheep with a little more leanness and look. I think it's close. Then we could go either way. Put your hands together for these young people. Very, very good set of heavyweights.
Your Division 3 champion blackface went to Madison Mancha, and your Division 3 reserve blackface went to Jaylee Joy.
folks, first and foremost, I want to thank those responsible here at the Eddy County Fair for the opportunity to come and join you all the way from Virginia. You know, I've been to New Mexico several times and actually had the great honor to judge your state market lamb show at your state fair a couple of times. So I knew what I was getting into. I knew the quality would be awesome. More importantly, I knew the quality of the sheep showmen, the young people that came through the ring, the people that support them, and the people behind the scenes. I knew would be excellent, and you haven't disappointed me. You got a great lineup of sheep. They've been a lot of fun to sort. I want to say thank you to all those guys that work behind the scenes, the folks in the ring, young ladies passing out the ribbons, the folks that have worked tirelessly. Put your hands together and help me say thank you to them for a really good job. I regret the fact that I sound like I've been talking 10 days straight, or maybe 2 weeks or a month, some people would say. Unfortunately, my voice is just not up to par, and that's unfortunate, and maybe fortunate for you. I've tried to keep things short and sweet, and we're going to do that here in your champion drive as well. But look forward to, again, a great set of sheep. We've described them as best I could. I think they fit a nice mold. They've got quality. They're sheep that are compositionally right. They're sheep that have balance and structure. They're show sheep that have balance and a lot of eye appeal. And there's some differences for sure between breeds, but I thought we really kind of set us off to a good start. Those are two really nice Dorsets, two really nice ones. Southdowns were good. That white-faced cross sheep, I think, with another 30 pounds and a couple more months of maturity is going to be reckoned with. Our black divisions were all really, really tough. Again, I'm not going to talk too much more about the sheep. It's a great program you folks have got. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to join you. Thanks to all those responsible. Keep in mind while we're here, folks, and I know you will, you guys get behind these young people. I guess it's on Saturday. Support them, encourage them, because there's no better way to raise our kids. My wife is fortunate enough to join me. We raised our two daughters in this very show ring, raising livestock, and it's the best thing to do. It's been a great honor to play a small role in your county fair. It's been a lot of fun. Put your hands together again for these kids. We'll get you a grand champion in reserve.
Your grand champion market lamb went to Bailey Trujillo out of Division 2, and your reserve grand champion market lamb was Jaylee Joy out of Division 2 as well. Please, let's give the judge one more big round of applause for coming out to Eddy County tonight.